Well, howdy, everybody. My name is Bone, the talking dog. Question time. If police are more likely to kill white men than black men, if white policemen are just as likely as black policemen to shoot a black suspect, and if over 90% of all black murders are done by black men, what exactly is the organization BLM trying to accomplish by toppling statues of not just Confederate leaders, but also Northern leaders, slave abolitionists, and founding fathers? There are even cities that are just taking down statues out of fear of riots. So why take this Mao Zedong approach to cultural cleansing?
Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists.
Where all these Black Lives Matter rioters, all these evil, ridiculously stupid black people who are racist, are throwing all these fireworks into people's houses and setting houses on fire. I'm sick of it. This has nothing to do with George Floyd. It's been an entire fucking month. If you want a civil war, just say so. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to deal with you people right now. And I say you people because you are no longer my people. Call me a coon, call me whatever you fucking want, call me Uncle Tom. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of seeing my country get burned to the ground just because you hate white people.
Before we begin, I think it's pretty funny how Donut Man gets all this shit for being skeptical of BLM while BTS brainwashes all their fans in a supporting movement when neither the BTS nor their fans know jack shit about it. Justin Timberlake and all other celebrities gathered money to bail out rioters. Sports columnists and the mayor supported the rioters until they got near their house. And they called them animals and terrorists. So I guess it was okay when they were destroying the black neighborhoods. Progressive newspaper building was destroyed. These stupid crackers give a thumbs up to black protesters and are met with a prize of bricks.
Why are you? Oh, we're on your side! We're on your side! Holy shit!
No, you're all complete tools, actually. Especially if you fall for corporations expressing solidarity. Here's a translation.
We would like to show our support for X because humans care about X. At this time, please buy our things.
Please don't smash our windows! As for the SNS folks who posted black squares, this is for you.
The people who see something horrible happen in the world and they run to the internet and they run to their social media, their Facebook, their Twitter, whatever they got, and they all write down the exact same thing. Do you know what that's worth? Fucking nothing. Fucking less than nothing. You are not giving any of your time, your money, or even your compassion. All you were doing is saying, don't forget about me today.
Well done! You've supported the further destruction of black neighborhoods. Weird how y'all weren't around for the 104 shootings in one black community in just one weekend. Or the countless times black children were shot, but I guess they were the wrong kind of victims since they were killed by black people. Y'all think you're fighting the system by supporting BLM, but BLM is the system. You got backing of politicians nationwide, the backing of almost 700 major companies, millions of dollars in funding, and normal people getting fired from their jobs if they don't support it. The question is, what are you really supporting? Yeah, defund the police. They don't need money for better training. The Minneapolis City Council voted to get rid of police as well, while using tax money to hire private security for themselves. So I guess the people who decide these things don't care about your safety. Yeah, banks don't need to know if you're in debt when they give you loans, and employers don't need to know if you robbed your last employer. I'm sure this would never lead to further black discrimination, right? What in tarnation does legalizing illegal immigration have to do with black lives?
Are trained Marxists.
Oh, yeah. Well, they have a lot of things that don't really relate to black people, like abolishing the justice system and defunding the military. Might as well just become South Africa then, since white farmers' land is being taken by the government without a trial. White farmers are 4 times likely to be murdered by anyone else. Oh, goddamn, I wasn't serious. trans and queers aren't banned from these things. This isn't the Middle East, you know. They mention trans and queer people 3 more times. And on their about page, they say black females and queer and trans are the real leaders. And they want to get rid of the Western nuclear family. Sounds like they just hate straight men. That is, unless a white cop shoots a black one. Well then, they can use the media attention to act like vultures picking at its cops. You know, we started using body cameras to reduce police brutality, but what the study showed was it was the reports of police brutality that were reduced, which some people interpreted as few people not being able to lie about police encounters. Now, I wasn't sure about that interpretation, since it seems like an assumption. But if BLM wants less accountability for cops, then perhaps that interpretation was right after all. Kids, do you know how many slaves reached North America? Right, 388,000. All sold by the Africans to boot. You know how many African slaves died at the hands of Arabs? 112 million. Oh, wow! You know why there are no black descendants in the Middle East? Well, they castrated every slave. BLM also mentions respecting the Native Americans' land, but the natives also had slaves from other natives and blacks. Will any Arabs or Native Americans pay reparations? In 1830, 3,775 free blacks owned 12,760 black slaves. So do the ancestors of those blacks pay reparations too? 20 times more slaves exist in Africa today than were brought to America. That's awkward, man. They ain't just historically inaccurate. The economic illiteracies in this section include demanding a guaranteed livable income for all black people, reparations for environmental racism, racialized capitalism, and ensuring access and control of food, housing, and restored land. Well, sounds like they want their own country, and they just want only white taxes to pay for it. Also, how's capitalism racist? 94% of the world was in poverty in 1840, and in 2015 that number was 10%. Low and middle income brackets worldwide saw increases in pay of 40% from 1988 to 2008 as well. I guess BLM also stands for Blacks Lose Money. Well, you shouldn't have voted for Obama then, because his National Defense Authorization Act gave the president the power to detain or kill Americans without trial. And he used it. At least twice. Gosh, we get it. You're communists. No need to beat a dead horse. Y'all motherfuckers have been organizing in public for 5 weeks. Before though, y'all will complain about how the virus is racist since black death rates are twice as high. Surely being the leading group in obesity and diabetes had nothing to do with that. But 3 weeks after the rioting began, the increase in infections had no connection to the riots or protests. Black people might die, but so what? Black action doesn't matter. Trump did both of those things, you know. But let me guess, it don't count, do it? Yeah, let's give a group of communists who chant about killing all cops the power to pass judgment on said cops. What could possibly go wrong? God, y'all just want your terrorist cop killer friend Asada Shakur out of jail, don't you? Well, I agree, but I don't think you do, since you're demanding money via politics, you fucking hypocrites. Serious guys, this ain't Somalia. Go to a library, you know, where those book things are. You know, Trump also did that already. It was record funded too. Awkward. Well, not once did they address a single problem In the black community, 60% of black females are sexually assaulted by 18, 75% of children are raised without a father, and y'all hate when blacks actually get educated too.
You know, when young black kids, you know, when they do well in school, the loser kids tell them, oh, you're acting white. One of the reasons we're never going to be successful as a whole because of other black people. And for some reason, we are brainwashed to think if you're not a thug or an idiot, you're not black enough. If you go to school, make good grades, speak intelligent, and don't break the law, you're not a good black person.
Plus, when there is good news, they don't care. Black women earn slightly more than white women of similar socioeconomic backgrounds. Over 60% of blacks at every level of educational attainment report they're doing better financially than their parents. That's higher than whites or Hispanics.
Black West Indians earn 94% of the income of the average American. If you take second generation Black West Indians, they earn higher incomes than Anglo-Saxons.
Jamaicans and local blacks look the same to them white folks, so how can there be discrimination if it don't affect black immigrants? Well, this black race car driver said someone put a noose in his garage, but it was just a pole rope. But instead of being relieved, people would have preferred if it was a hate crime. The low supply of hate crimes in white supremacists don't match the very high demand of finding them. So they gotta keep making them up. Booker T. Washington was born a slave in 1856. Then he became the founder of Tuskegee University in 1881. He said something that I think is quite relevant today.
There is another class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles, they have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they do not want to lose their jobs.
So when you see these stupid crackers kneeling and reciting BLM gospels, you know they're suckers. When you see the New York Times saying that you should cut off your family and friends unless they support BLM, you know they're dead inside. But when you see black success stories who don't need victim mentalities to get attention, well, they're just a bunch of coconuts, they're not black anymore. Can't have the impression that blacks in America are all the same. They're not a monolith like BLM wants you to think. What we have here is a minority of a minority creating a religion.
I will love my black neighbors the same as my white ones.
I will love my black neighbors the same as my white ones.
Repenting not for our aggression, but repenting for our pride. Please forgive us for standing on your necks.
Martin Luther King Jr. said, "It's the character, not the color that matters." But BLM will call him an Uncle Tom, forcing people to believe in the original sin of being born white. It's fighting imagined racism with real racism, because projection of your own sins onto others is the best weapon Marxism provides. Meanwhile, back in reality, over 99% of cop killings are pretty hard to argue, especially when this guy is driving drunk, which is something that kills 29 people every day.
Brought up when he's having a conversation with the cops that he has 3 girls, and it's like, I wish he'd have kept that in mind before he punched the cop in the face before he stole his taser, before he pointed the taser. When he stole the taser, took off running, and turned around and pointed the taser at the officer, he has a right to defend himself because his life matters just as much as Ray Shard's. Ray Shard doesn't care about his life or anybody else's life. Yeah. Ray Shard is dead because Ray Shard don't want to follow the rules. Ray Shard don't want to keep his hands to himself. If Ray Shard was white, yeah, Wendy's would still be selling chicken sandwiches. They burned the damn Wendy's down. Yeah.
In summation, this is how BLM looks right now. Fucking white people. White people, please help. Hey, that's my bag.